Oh, hello everyone. This is me, Dusty Circuit here with another Kerbal Space Program video. And the last couple of videos, I explained what my next mission is going to be, and then I assembled this spacecraft in Kerbin orbit, which well, at least in this episode, I plan to send to Jool. And once we get to Jool, we're going to have, I actually have, four, I think it's four different, separate, crafts that will separate from this one. I have a plane out here for lathe. And, in the back is, kind of a beefy lander I intend to send to Tylo. And on the sides are just two smaller landers for the smaller moons. And really the rest of the ship is just kind of the central, I guess what I call the core section, which includes basically the propulsion units or the interplanetary stage, which are these two nuclear saltwater engines, though I'm also using one of those for the Tylo lander as well. And then kind of these this section, which is just mostly just habitation for my Kerbals, which I made out of the parts from the stock-like station parts mod. And then, of course, I have radiators because these nuclear saltwater engines require cooling. But I actually attempted this video last night, but it turned out so bad, and there were just so many problems that arose that I decided to just scrap that video and just kind of go back to this ship being in Kerbin orbit, and I'm just going to start the mission again. And I found a critical problem with the spacecraft, which was basically, so I ended up messing up my fuel lines for like my radial fuel tanks. So it's like as I was staging them, these would separate and then these would separate rather than being both the inner ones or both the outer ones. And the reason why that's a bad thing is that would cause the center of mass to shift to the side, which would mean, well, if I burn my engines, that would cause an instability where the whole craft would have a tendency to just turn to one side because the center of mass is no longer in line with the center of thrust. And at first I tried counteracting that with my RCS, but by the time I was at Jool, I had basically burned through 3/4 of my RCS, so that was not going to do. So I just ended up having to send up another whole spacecraft and then like move all my ships from the old one to the new one that was fixed, and then transfer and then like spacewalk all my Kerbals from the old craft to the new one, which ended up taking entirely too much time, but I'm kind of glad I did it because after that, I actually did a test run of this where I just kind of flew this out to Jool and then reverted back afterwards, like just off camera just to test this thing, and I'm happy to report that this thing actually flies straight and is a lot more stable than the old one. So like this probe being on one side is not even a problem. So let's continue on with this mission, shall we? Well, looks like we have an unintended moon gravity assist, which is gonna work in my. Looks like it's gonna work in my favor. So I guess we'll make use of that. Okay, okay, I'm gonna turn on This is going to be the only cheat I'm going to use. Ignore max temperature. Because apparently this waste heat, like... So if this gets too... If the waste heat gets too high, these engines will explode. And for whatever reason, during time warps, it just basically shoots up and makes them explode. So I'm just going to turn that off. Just to make sure we don't have problems. Oh, and there's our moon flyby, though unfortunately it's on the dark side. What was that? And now we're leaving Curran. And now we set Jool as our target. Okay, that was our inclination change, so we match Jool's inclination. And we'll just like I explained in Just like I explained in my previous video, I'm going to at least attempt the, well, if I can click on the maneuver. So I'm going to attempt the Tylo gravity assist. I think we'll just do that, and then we'll tweak it later from there. And now we start our transfer to Jool. Well, the burn anyway. And it looks like with this, we're going to go through one set of our radial tanks. Because if you see how it says, kind of on the like for the amount of time, like wherever it has this line here, that indicates when you're actually gonna use up a stage. Which is something that wasn't in the older versions of the game. Also, as well as the whole Delta V indicators, which in game, which isn't the most accurate at a lot of times, but well, it's not the most accurate thing, but it is still helpful. That's quite a cool shot right there. Okay, we're getting ready to drop our first set of tanks. And here we go. It's always satisfying to watch that. Okay, we're just about done with the burn. And it's done. I think from here we can set up our, try to get our gravity assist. Well, I guess we'll just have to tweak it from there, from like later, like when we're in Jool's sphere of influence. And by the way, this is what the sun looks like from this far away. It's a lot smaller. Well, looks like that's gonna work. This is such a small amount of delta V needed. I just used my RCS instead of my engines. Okay, we might be able to see... Although there's Jool out there. And you can already see the moons from out here as well. So I believe that big gray one is Tylo, and that blue one is Lathe. And that's obviously Jool. And that's Vol. Well, oh, we were switching sphere of influences. That's why it was acting like that. So, hey, this is our Tylo flyby. Okay, I'm gonna quick save. I'm gonna save here. And I said that my plan was to refuel the space plane and the landers at Paul, so that's what we're going to be doing next. Well, it helps if I'm facing the right way to do my inclination change. Actually, I think some might want to see what Jool looks like up closer. So kind of unfortunately, our periapsis is like on the dark side of it. Okay, so the way I plan this maneuver, we're actually gonna have to do one whole orbit around before it's time to do the maneuver. Oh, crap. Well, I went past it, so but I guess we'll try it anyway. It would help if we're facing our maneuver. And there's Paul. And now we're just burning retrograde to get into orbit. And, well, one thing I need to do before I actually land here and actually do my refueling is an orbital survey. And those require you to be I guess it would have been easier if I would have just come in on a poor orbit, but you have to be in order to do the orbital survey. But at least Paul's gravity is low enough that it's not going to be a ton of delta V to do. And then to actually do the orbital survey, we just have to deploy that thing. We'll not aim our camera to it, but deploy it. And then, and of course, we're required to have a comm link to the KSC, which we have, and then we can do it. Oh, apparently we must be higher. No matter, just have to go to our apoapsis and then raise our periapsis a bit. And now we should be able to do it. And there we go. So everywhere that is, like the magenta, is that's where ore is. So we're gonna want to land, so we're gonna want to land our plane, like, where there is, the magenta. I think we can go ahead and undock now. I think it would be a good idea to transfer some monopropellant over just to make sure we have enough. And now we can undock. And then we can deorbit. Okay, I think that's a good spot. Or might want to. Okay, now we can land. I think this is one of my first times actually going to Paul with the with these visual mods I have. Okay, this I'll switch it over to surface velocity. Okay, and the gravity is pretty light here, so I can be at least a little bit liberal with my time warping. So those spiky things actually like those are on Paul like in the fully stock game, but like the fog you see that's my visual mods. Okay, so I guess now that we've landed, we actually could do some science. And if you're wondering where I actually put the science on this plane, I actually hid it in this the service bay. I couldn't exactly fit a Science Junior into this plane, but pretty much have every other science thing. Okay, and that actually is the pole landing out of the way. So the main reason we came here is so that I can refuel. And so how that's gonna work is, well, my apologies for the bad lighting here, but basically, so that I have these two drills, which are in here. And I guess we'll have to retract our landing gears so they can reach the ground. Oh, and also the service bay actually has a radiator built in, so that's figured I don't need to actually add any radiators. And then we just click Start ISRU liquid fuel. And then we should be slowly replenishing our liquid fuel, though it's gonna take a little while. Okay, now we are full. Actually, I think I want to keep the oxidizer to about half. I guess we'll do monopropellant next. Okay, now we're all full, so we can retract our drills. And then just turn off the refinery. And now we should be able to lift off. Oh, wait a minute. Let's actually wait until until pole actually rotates as such as that the mothership actually is going to be orbiting just above us. And, now with this should be our first of I think maybe a couple different rendezvous we're gonna have to do. Okay, we're docked back to the mothership. And now I'm just going to have to, I don't know how many more times I have to do that, but I may have to. So I have to transfer fuel from the plane to both of these landers, and then also make sure the plane is fully topped up for for when I actually send it to Lathe. And well, I'm not gonna bore you with this, so I think I'm just gonna do this off camera, and then I'm going to actually do what I'm gonna do for the end of at least of this video.